A lot of evidence dropped today in this case, and we have with us to sort through it all is Jonathan Lavoie from the law firm of Kim and Lavoie.
So much to get to tonight, but let's begin with that picture talked about for days. We've been waiting for this of Sade Robinson sitting on Maxwell Anderson's distinct red couch, and today we finally got to see that. We've been waiting. What was the impact, in your opinion?
It was a very powerful piece of evidence. It's what the jury needed to see to humanize what was happening. And the picture showed her in a very compromising position. The detective even referenced he didn't know if she was dead or sleeping, and it had a very big impact on that jury. That
was the aha moment that you said last night they needed today. Jurors also got to hear from a former girlfriend of Maxwell Anderson who described Warnemount Park, his secret beach, as he called it. What effect do you think that had on jurors?
I think that girlfriend testimony was very important. She first of all characterized him as being verbally abusive to her and painted him in a negative light. But she also put Mr. Anderson with knowledge of that area, that this was a secret area that he had been to before, which then made sense that that would be the place that he might use to hide the body.
Talk about the witnesses. Defense didn't call any. In fact, Anderson never took the stand, not that we expected him to. Do you think that was the right move?
I was curious about if the defense were to call witnesses, who would they be? And I think at the end of the day, the state probably called several of the witnesses the defense would have called to try to take the wind out of their sails, as we talked about the last couple nights. And I think he simply didn't have any witness left that would be helpful to him at all. So he's just resting on a reasonable doubt argument.
Bria brought this up in her story, and I think it was one of the most compelling parts today when we learned that he texted Sade Robinson the next morning saying, "Morning, how's work going?" He may or may not have known she was dead at that point, but the prosecutor made it seem like it was, he called it a disgusting act. How did that play with jurors, you think?
Yeah, I think the prosecutor just made it look like he's going to work and going about his business and trying to hide this, thinking he got away with it. And you could see the passion in the prosecutor's argument about how upset he was about this whole thing. And I think that really resonated with the jurors, the passion that he had when he was presenting, how disgusted he was with his actions.
The closing arguments, both sides got 45 minutes to do so. Discuss the, I guess, persuasiveness, the effectiveness in which you thought both the state and the prosecution handled it today.
So I thought, to start with the defense, I felt they came out a little bit flat and didn't have a lot of passion, didn't have a lot of explanation that may have caused the jury to think another option was available. On the flip side, the state came out hot and came out with a lot of fire. They had diagrams, and I think they were very persuasive in the way that they presented all of their case after a long trial.
And finally, I want to ask you, in so many high-profile cases, the judge, either purposely or by something they said or done, becomes part of the story. Not the case here. Judge Crivello has been soft-spoken but firm, quickly making decisions. How do you think she has run this trial?
The touchstone of a good judge is somebody that doesn't involve themselves in the story. She was outstanding. She really let the lawyers do their job. She made decisive decisions when she needed to. She was very nice to the jury. You could tell that she cared about the witnesses. I just think she did a great job, and she ran a very good and fair trial in my mind.
There was a point tonight, though, where they say they weren't going to deliberate, and then she had changed her mind, said they were going to deliberate, and so then all of a sudden that halted, and now they'll pick up the deliberations. The jury will again tomorrow.
It was surprising to me that she sent the jury out for a 15-minute deliberation. It would have made more sense to read them the instructions and bring them back on Monday, but I think they've been there so long, they want to just try to use every moment that they have to try to see if they could get a verdict.
Maybe they picked a foreperson in that time, who knows, and get ready to go in the morning. Jonathan Lavoie of the law firm Kim and Lavoie, you have helped us understand so much of this. You see it in a prison that we don't, and we thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Thank you.